I'm Federico Di Leo of the community of Sant'Egidio, and I want to thank Maulana Khan for this great opportunity. Also because Maulana Khan is a very close friend of the community of Sant'Egidio. He has been with us for many times during our meetings of International Prayer for Peace. Above all, we remember his image in Jerusalem when he has been one of the wise men planting the olive tree of peace. He has been with us planting the olive tree of peace in other occasions. And as we had the opportunity of visiting this wonderful country of India, we think that to meet Maulana Khan means to give us the opportunity of making this tree, like the many trees of India, grow in our heart. And we need this friendship with all India and with the Muslim in India, which is an important part of the society. We know that Maulana Khan is a wise man of Islam not only in India. He is recognized as an important scholar in many countries because of his knowledge, because he's a wise man, not only because of the age. When he was young, he was already considered a reference person for Islam. So we are here to listen to him, to share again our friendship, because the community of Sant'Egidio is working again for peace, and we want to make our links of friendship with Islam to grow, with him as the roots of this friendship, which must have also other leaves, other branches, and maybe we are here to discover more and more about this issue, maybe hoping that this very close friend of ours will be with us in the forthcoming occasion. And I thank all of you for organizing this meeting, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A very good evening to all the brothers and sisters from Italy. My name is RAJAT Malhotra, and I am one of the disciples of Maulana Wahiduddin Khan and also a member of Center for Peace and Spirituality. Before we begin the talk, I will briefly introduce Maulana Sahab, and then we will begin the interactive session. Maulana Wahiduddin Khan, as many people say, and you would all agree, is an ambassador of Islam and peace. Born in 1925 at Azamgarh in UP, Maulana Wahiduddin Khan is well versed in both classical Islamic learning and modern science. Having studied the original Arabic scriptures, Maulana has given us the real face of Islam based on peace, tolerance, and coexistence. From the beginning, he has dedicated himself to the establishment of peace and has presented Islam in the modern idiom. In September 1970, he established the Islamic Center in New Delhi, Al-Risala, the voice of the mission in Urdu language, which is regularly published as monthly periodicals. Maulana is well-traveled and a recipient of several national and international awards. Maulana has received the Demagogues International Peace Award 2002 in Switzerland for his outstanding achievements in strengthening peace among nations. He has also been awarded the title of Ambassador of Peace by the International Federation for World Peace, Korea. Some of the national awards that Maulana has been awarded are Padma Bhushan, National Amity Award, Dilli Gaurav, and many more. He has authored over 200 books on Islam, prophetic wisdom, and peaceful coexistence in a multi-ethnic society. His latest work, The Ideology of Peace, elucidates the concept of peace in Islam. To spread his message globally, Maulana established the CPS International, the Center for Peace and Spirituality, which aims to promote and reinforce the culture of peace through mind-based spirituality. So let us all hear Maulana Wahiduddin Khan now. Thank you.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम वसल्लल्लाहु अला नबील करीम रब्बिश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली. Sisters and brothers, welcome to you all on the occasion of this spiritual gathering. I am very happy to meet you. Now, the present meeting is not meant for delivering lectures. It is meant for interaction and discussion. To initiate this discussion, I would like to say a few words about Islam. Now, the Prophet of Islam was born in 570 AD in Mecca. Then, after 40 years, he received his first revelation. At the time, he was in the cave of Mount Hira. It is very relevant to tell you that the first encounter of the Prophet of Islam was with a Christian scholar. When he received his first revelation, he returned to his home. Then he and his wife Khadija both went to a very senior scholar. He was a Christian. His name was Warqa bin Nawfal. He was living in Mecca at that time. Perhaps he was in 90, so he was a very old man. Prophet Muhammad shared his experience to Warqa bin Nawfal. After hearing, he said, "If it is true what you are saying, then this was the same angel who came to Prophet Moses and other prophets, and I will support you." But at that time he was very old, and less than 1 year he died in 611. So this was the beginning of Islam. Then Prophet of Islam, the basic principle of Islam was Tawheed, that is oneness of God, just like all other Semitic religions. So he started his mission in Mecca. He lived up to 13 years in Mecca. Then he migrated to Medina. So the total period of his prophethood was 23 years. He achieved a great successful, and during this short period, he was able to spread the Islam all over the Arabia. Then after his death in 632, his followers, who were more than 100,000 at that time, they spread in different countries, and they were able to spread the message of Islam almost throughout the world. This was the beginning of Islam. Then what happened? After the Prophet Muhammad, his followers were able to establish uh, a political empire in Asia and Africa and also in Europe. So they were able to establish empires, any Umayyad Empire, Abbasid Empire, Fatimid Empire, and Mughal Empire, and Ottoman Empire, and also Spanish Empire. So these empires lasted almost up to 1,000 years. This was the history of Islam, or you can say history of Muslims. So this was, there's no doubt about it that this was the plus point of Islam, but at the same time there was a negative point in this history, because the later generations of Muslims flourished during this political atmosphere. So their psyche became political. They used to think that empire is an integral part of Islam. So when in 19th century, after the advent of colonial period, they lost their empires everywhere in the world. Although even now there are 57 Muslim countries, but of course they have lost the empire, what is called empire. So after losing the empire, here started their problem. Because of their mindset, they were unable to think that without empire there is no Islam. It was their psyche that empire is an integral part of Islam. So they started a campaign. This campaign started, the perhaps first well-known leader was Sant'Egidio. He started a new campaign. Then there are other leaders throughout the world. They wanted to regain that empire, but they failed. Then there emerged a new kind of leaders, like Sayyid Qutb in the Arabia and Sayyid Maulana Wahiduddin in Indian subcontinent. They tried to give a new boost. So they tried to give a political interpretation. This was the first in Islamic history. They published commentary of the Quran and other literature. They tried to give this impression that politics is an integral part of Islam. So it was a political interpretation of Islam. At that time, it was very favorable condition for them. So their ideology, their thought, their literature is spread all over the world, everywhere in the world. So the whole generation of 20th century developed this kind of psyche everywhere in the world. This happened when there was printing press. So through printing press, through print media, they successfully spread their message that Islam is a political system. Without political system, there is no Islam. This was political interpretation of Islam. So during the first period, that was Sayyid Jawahruddin Afghani and Abul Kalam Azad, they failed to re-establish their empire. Then again, at the time of Sayyid Qutb and Maulana Wahiduddin, they again failed to regain that kind of political empire. Then came Osama bin Laden and Mullah Omar and Yasser Arafat, they wanted to give a violent turn. They began violent jihad. There is Basallah jihad. So people began like a, they found that here is the solution. If peaceful campaign is not useful, if political interpretation is not useful, so we have to initiate jihad. That is violent activism. So they began this kind of violent jihad everywhere in the world, in Palestine, in Kashmir, and in other parts of the world. But again, they failed. It is a very well known fact. Then what happened? Then they started what is called suicide bombing everywhere in the world. Again, they failed. So now this movement has reached to a blind alley. Here is the Muslim problem. So I and my colleagues have started a campaign to reshape the Muslim mind, to give new ideology to Muslim people that is based on ideology. One of this kind of literature is here, ideology of peace. I have published more than 200 books, and also I have published a commentary of the Quran. This commentary is published in 4 languages: Urdu, Hindi, Arabic, and also English. So we are trying our best to change the Muslim mind. This mind is based on history rather than Islamic scriptures, as I have said earlier. The present Muslim mind, that is political mind, is based on the later period of history and not in the Islamic scriptures. So I'm trying to give a new ideology, although it's not new, it is Quranic ideology. So I want to reshape Muslim mind. I can say that I am very successful, not only in India, but everywhere in the world. We have changed thousands and thousands of Muslim youths. Some of them you can see here also. So this is a short description of the present situation of Islam. Now a few words I want to give a few words. What is the ideology of Islam? Ideology of Islam is based on peace, completely unbased. I can say in Western world people say that freedom is summum bonum. I would like to say no, freedom is not summum bonum. Peace is the summum bonum. Peace is the summum. This concept was given by the Quran. As-sulhu khair. Peace is the summum bonum. So through peace you can achieve everything. Through violence you cannot anything. You cannot achieve anything. There is a well-known saying of the Prophet of Islam, God grants to non-violence, which He does not grant to violence. So peace is far more effective. Peaceful activism is far more effective than the violent activism. I published several books on the Prophet, on the life of the Prophet. You can see in these books are published in English also, that Prophet of Islam was a prophet of peace. He always tried to establish peace. Why? Because where there is peace, there are opportunities. Prophet gave this formula that in life, every time there are problems, political and non-political both. So problem is a part of life. For example, when Muslims lost their empire, that was a problem. This kind of problems are but natural. You have to face this problem. But don't try to eliminate the problem, but try to know those opportunities. So according to the Islamic thought, according to the Islamic thinking, according to the Islamic ideology, in every situation there are problems. At the same time, in every situation there are opportunities. So you have to ignore the problems and you have to avail the opportunities. This is the formula of Islam. And this was practiced by the Prophet of Islam during his lifetime. Then what is the formula of Islam in a multi-religious society? Multi-religious society. I can give you two references. When the Prophet of Islam was in Mecca, he received a revelation from God in this regard. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. Say that for you, your religion, for me, mine. It was a very simple formula. For you, your religion, for me, mine. You can formulate this principle in these words. Follow one and respect all. Follow one and respect all. Then when Prophet settled in Medina, at that time there were several religious communities. So again he gave this formula. He issued a declaration. When Prophet was in Medina, he issued a declaration that is called Sahifatul Medina in Islamic history. Sahifatul Medina means Medina Declaration. In this declaration, it was mentioned that Lil Yahud deenuhum walil Muslimin deenuhum. And for every community, their religion. For Muslim, their religion. For Jewish community, their religion. Again, he gave this formula that follow one and respect all. Then I will go to more references. I think that the best formula of spirituality was given by Jesus Christ. Formula of peace, formula of spirituality. I love this principle. You know, Jesus Christ has said, love your enemy. This is the best formula of peace and formula of spirituality. Love your enemy. Now the same formula was given by the Quran. In the Quran, you can see this in these words. La tastawi al-hasanatu wala as-sayyi'a idfa billati ahsan fa idha alladhi baynaka wa baynahu adawa ka'annahu waliyyun hamim. These are verse from the chapter 41. It means that do good deed in return for bad deed. And then you will see that your enemy has become your dearest friend. It means that enemy is your potential friend. Don't see enemy as enemy, but see him as a potential friend. This is the best formula of spirituality and peace. So according to Islam, there is no war against enemies. It is very important that Islam differentiates between enemy and attacker. Enemy and attacker. In Islam, there is no war against enemy. In Islam, only one kind of war is permitted, that is defensive war. If there is attack, then you can go to defensive war. But if there are some enemy, you cannot go to fighting. So Islam differentiates between enemy and attacker. Then the other reference is that, you know, Jesus Christ has said give to Caesar what is due to Caesar, and due to God what is due to God. The same formula you can find in Islam also. Prophet of Islam has said, this you can find in the most important book in Islam, that is Sahih al-Bukhari. Addu ilayhim haqqahum wa sallallahu haqqakum. Addu ilayhim haqqahum wa sallallahu haqqakum. It means that go to the rulers what is due to the rulers. Give to the rulers what is due to the rulers, and ask about your dues from God. And if you have some dues, if you have some problem, so ask God. Don't go to fighting. Don't go to confrontation. This is the formula of peace in Islam. So I would like to say that if you want to know what is Islam, you have to differentiate between Islam and Muslims. You have to differentiate between Islam and Muslims. You have to judge Muslims in the light of Islamic teachings and not vice versa. This is very important. Otherwise, you will go into confusion. So Muslims are a community and Islam is an ideology. Islam is an ideology. These Muslims have opted for violence. It is forbidden in Islam. Except defense, there is no. Except defense, you cannot go to war. Then there is very important teaching of Islam. Even if there are genuine situations for war, for example, there is aggression or there attack, even then, only state can go to war. There is a very well-known formula in Islamic law that ar-rahilu lil-imam. Ar-rahilu lil-imam means to declare a war is a prerogative of Islam, of state. No organization other than a state have right to go to war. So all these violence are you see in the world by Muslims. These wars were begun from some kind of organizations, not from any state. If there are some violence that was sponsored by the state secretly, that is called proxy war. So I would like to say that even proxy war is haram in Islam. فَبِّزْ إِلَيْهِمْ عَلَى سَوَاءٍ. So proxy war, guerrilla war, and aggressive war, also undeclared war, are unlawful in Islam. So all these activities, that is activities in the name of jihad, are not jihad. There is a verse in the Quran very relevant. وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جَهَادًا كَبِيرًا. وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جَهَادًا كَبِيرًا. It means, it is a verse of the Quran. وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جَهَادًا كَبِيرًا. It means that do great jihad with the help of the Quran. Do great jihad with the help of the Quran. Quran is a book of ideology. It is not a sword, it is not a gun. So, jihad by the help of the Quran means ideological jihad, peaceful jihad. So, jihad in Islamic Sharia is a peaceful struggle. It has nothing to do with violence. So all these violence you see in different countries that are unlawful, un-Islamic. It has nothing to do with Islamic teachings. So this is the Islamic teachings, and this is the Islamic picture. Now I will invite you to, the floor is open. Everyone is free to raise any question or any issue or any experience. You can share any experience. So I welcome your ideas, inshallah. Thank you.